remember holding onto the pole really tight, and all I could see was darkness.
I guess it was the universe telling me to look to the
So
left.
I took it a step further. I liked putting beards on babies and on old ladies.
I thought that this grandpa wouldn't have that kind of strength, but he sure did.
And me and my friends start like going crazy, like, wait, no, like.
And I couldn't imagine having my eyes closed for longer than 3 minutes with my bags and stuff on me on the train.
I'm Christina Baez, and you're listening to The Subway Portraits. The Subway Portraits is the living history of people's most memorable experiences riding in New York City's MTA subway. These stories are told by you, the commuters, the tourists, and the native New Yorkers like myself. Our episodes contain multiple short stories submitted to us consisting of both pre-pandemic and post-pandemic stories. Today we're sharing several stories with you. They'll range from a traumatic coffee spill to someone's serendipitous spotting that redefined their relationship, to how a commuter's magic of Zen slowed down time. So let's jump in. Caffeine Kick.
My commute to work every morning was by the 1 train. I started off my day by getting a coffee from the corner store, and I would continue my merry way to the train. And when I got there, oh my God, I just got distracted. Sorry. So I got on the train, usual, had my coffee. For some reason, though, I'm not sure what exactly happened, but I don't remember the sequence of events, but all I remember was all the bad, as usual. So here I go. It's my stop on 59th Street in Columbus. And I get up, I'm trying to hold on to the top railing. And the person that's next to me is also getting up at the same time. Mind you, it's winter, so we both have puffy coats on. So as you can imagine, tight space, a lot of people getting off at the same stop. And just so happens that once me and this guy get up, I end up spilling my coffee on to an older gentleman, like a senior citizen. The senior citizen then realizes that his jacket is wet and turns around and punches me on my left shoulder. But not just any punch. It was one of the, it hurt. I thought that this grandpa wouldn't have that kind of strength, but he sure did. And it hurt. So I was like appalled. I was like, when things like that happen, I'm not confrontational. So like almost started crying already. And I'm like, why would you do that to me? Oh my God. It was like by accident. And so he gets off at the same stop as I do. Like we're all getting off. And I'm like, why would you do this to me? Like, I don't deserve this. I'm the kindest person in the world. And then, he's just like, why the fuck you, whatever, spill your coffee on me? And I'm like, total accident, dude, whatever. So, I mean, after a while, I'm walking to my next train, which was, what was that train? I had to take the E train, one stop, which was the most, no, what is that? Oh, the D or the B, one stop to take the E. And so, after a while, I'm just minding my business. I'm kind of still out of it that I just got punched by a senior citizen that's probably wearing diapers, and my arm starts getting numb. Can you believe that? My arm starts getting numb. And so I decided to then I don't know if it was very caring of me or what, but I felt like I needed to tell somebody. And if I was going to have to go to the hospital or whatever the case was, I felt like that man that punched me should be held accountable. So I made a police report and all that, girl. I had to go to physical therapy. They never got to find him, though. The police did do a whole investigation. They played videotapes and they couldn't find him. Deacon. But, that's the One Train Chronicles. That's just one of my many stories. But I thought that one was, I'll never forget that. It was August 1st of 2017. Never going to forget it.
no filter.
So this story came with a very important lesson, but it was learning the lesson that was the important thing. It was just when I got into Snapchat and I like to put filters on people, and it was a really neat thing to learn that you can put a filter on a stranger. So I took it a step further. I liked putting beards on babies and on old ladies. So I don't usually go to the city much. I was going to visit my friend. I get onto the N train. There's this girl sitting in front of me, and I decided to put googly eyes on her. So that was a good laugh. And then we get off the train, get onto the escalator. It was that girl. She was standing in front of me. So I figured it would probably make sense to show her my work. So I decided to show her the picture of the googly eyes, and she was yelling at me, "Take that off! Delete that now! Delete that now!" So I deleted it. That was probably the longest escalator ride of my life.
Doppelgänger or nah?
So one morning I was walking to the J train, the Halsey stop, which was my stop at the time. I'm going up the stairs, and just by chance, I happened to look over at the kiosk. I never really go to the kiosk because I always use the automated system to refill my monthly. But I don't know, I guess it was the universe telling me to look to the left. I look to the left and I see the guy that I was seeing on and off at the time, which was super odd because he was all the way on the one train. He lived like really, really far north in the Bronx, and I'm in Bushwick. So the chances of him being there just didn't really make any sense unless he was seeing me, and we weren't seeing each other that day. But I brushed it off. There are plenty of doppelgangers in the world, so I didn't think much of it, and I actually had seen him later on that week. The following week, I'm leaving the J train, leaving the Halsey stop, and who do I see? It's the same guy with the girl, because I later found out that he was seeing someone while he was seeing me in my neighborhood. So he would leave my house and then he would go to the other girl's house. And I guess she lived a couple of blocks away from me. So thank God for the J train, because the J train saved me a lot of heartache, a lot of headaches, and I soon just let that whole situation go right after I saw him on the J train.
Still to come, a commuter's concern for train traffic, the real reason your train was delayed, and more. But before we get to those, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who submitted a story. This podcast wouldn't be possible without you. And if you haven't shared your experience, it's not too late. Head to our website at www.thesubwayportraits.com. There you can record your own memorable subway experience and subscribe to our newsletter for updates on future episodes. You can record from your cell phone, laptop, or desktop. So share your story, no matter what it is, and be a part of this digital time capsule. I've added links to our episode description to make it easier for you. Check it out after the show. Back to back on the track.
So this was actually not too long ago. I was along the 7 line on Queensboro Plaza, to be exact. And me and a few friends, we're just taking photos of the beautiful skyline of Long Island City, which is my opinion is sort of overrated, but at the same time, it has looks. It's very nice. So yeah, the first 7 train came in, and it came and left. After that, like literally right behind it, another 7 local train came in. And so I was the first one to question, like, wait, why so right behind each other. And all right, so then that one left. So it didn't take too long to find out that to not to find out, but to look back. There was a 7 express train coming like right around the corner, and then my friend's like, "Wait, something's not right. Like something's off about this." And so we're like, no way. So this is like 3 trains in like this span of like almost like under a minute. And the thing about it is that the for those that don't know, the seven line is ran by CBTC, or communications based train control, which makes the train drive or automatically by itself. But the thing about it is, I feel like it's okay for train service to be frequent, but the way the seven line does things, it's a bit awkward because there's times when the 7 train, like they're just bunched up with each other. And even with CBTC, I feel like the L line does a better job. But back to the story at hand. Literally, so 3 trains passed by in under a minute. And then after that, like over a span of literally, like there's two local trains literally right behind each other. Literally. When I tell you right behind each other, literally, we're talking about at least like like at least a bit over, like a bit under, a bit over, or 100 feet, almost 200 feet. And me and my friends start like going crazy, like, wait, no, like, because honestly, I feel like the way it is, like, that's not really too safe, because what if like the 7 gets into an accident with another 7 local or another 7 express, because their trains are right behind each other. I mean, that was kind of off. And even before that, like, we were at Hunters Point Avenue on the 7, and the train literally announced in Annie Bergen's voice, which is the name of the announcer that does the station names. She said, "This is Hunters Point Avenue," and we were in the last car. And in the last car, it was basically, in the basically still in the tunnel, and then another 7 train was creeping up right behind it at less than 100 feet. And so we was like, wait, this doesn't even make any sense. And me and my friends start going off like, this is dangerous. Like, New York City Transit, what are you guys doing? And so, other all in all, I would say it's not too good of an experience, but most memorable for me, because, you know, sometimes the 7 line really is really on drugs. Like, honestly, just creeping up behind each other, like back to back, while nobody's barely at the station, is just, it's not it. But it's New York City. What do you expect? It is what it is.
Slowing down time.
It was 9 a.m. on the train. I was going to law school, which I pretty much had this routine 3 days a week where I would have class in the morning, and I was going through a lot of anxiety. I It was the 7 train I would take. It would be about 10 or 12 stops from my apartment to my school. And it was always packed in the morning, a New York morning commute. Different people sitting down, standing up. You can only every once in a while get a seat. And I would always try and get a seat to try and orient myself before getting into the school building. I remember trying meditation for the first time seriously on the 7 train. I YouTubed a 3-minute guided meditation because I really didn't think my mind would have the patience for anything longer than that. And I couldn't imagine having my eyes closed for longer than 3 minutes with my bags and stuff on me on the train that was so packed. So I got a seat, and I was literally shoulder to shoulder sitting down with my, bare arms touching two different ladies on each side of me. And I closed my eyes and I did the meditation, and it felt like it felt like it was 15 to 20 minutes. The way that the breathing, like slow, mindful breathing, it totally transformed how I was feeling in just 3 minutes. And I looked up and it was literally only, three stops, 2 or 3 stops that went by, but it felt like it was 10 whole minutes. Um, so it's just the concept of time, and, just working through the anxiety of doing deep mindful breathing with your eyes closed on the train, wondering what people are looking at, but just the release and the healing that I felt, and just the transformation of how I was feeling, stepping onto the train versus after doing that. And I started doing this 3 to 5 minute guided meditation on YouTube, um, every time on the 7 train. It really just took that little amount of time to feel a whole lot better.
The unsolved mystery.
It was a weekday evening, and I was taking the one train uptown to 66th Street. I had a long day in the office and was looking forward to getting home and just relaxing. For the most part, I felt pretty normal all day until the train left 50th Street and was headed to 59th Street. All I remember was before we could even stop at 59th Street, I remember having my eyes open but not being able to see. I remember holding onto the pole really tight and all I could see was darkness until I remember letting go of the pole and just falling back. All of a sudden, I was a sick passenger everyone dreads to be on the train with. I was a sick passenger that held up the train in the evening commute when everybody just wants to get their ass home. I couldn't believe it. I passed out in front of a bunch of strangers. Lucky for me, I happened to pass out in the front of a doctor who was kind enough to prop my head up and give me some water until the police arrived. The EMT and my family were called and I was taken by the ambulance to the ER. But until this day, I still don't know why I passed out that day, and the doctors in the ER were never able to figure it out either.
So tune in every other Sunday to hear these real stories told by real people. And if you have your own story and want to be a part of this time capsule, then record it on our site at www.thesubwayportraits.com. And if you can't remember that, there's a link in our episode description. You'll not only have a chance of being featured on a future episode, but your experience will become a part of this living history. So thanks for listening. Hit subscribe or follow depending on which platform you're listening on. And ride with us. Until next time.